Welcome back to A Faith That Will Not Fail. I'm Rustin.
I'm Mike.
I'm Tammy.
And we are glad you're joining us on this Lenten journey as we work through Michelle Kushat's book, A Faith That Will Not Fail. We are in week 5 of our Lenten journey and on day 5. And this theme is enough.
Yeah.
What does it look like for us to have enough? How do we, contentment, part of being content is understanding when enough's enough. And I do think this is a cultural vacuum for us, right? Because we are told over and over and over that it's never enough. You got to keep up with the Joneses. Here's what these things are.
Well, yeah, we're consumers, right? And so, but what happens when what is enough for us isn't what we're looking for, right? Or what we need. She says sometimes the answers to our prayers don't look like what we expect them to. And it reminds me of the story of Juliana's mom, and they were praying for a car, and she got this brand new car, and literally about a week later, she gets into this bad accident, rear-ended, the car is totaled. It's less than a week old. A few days later, she notices this pain in her neck, and she goes to the doctor and realizes that she has thyroid cancer. And, this prayer for a new car, but ended up, literally saving her life. And so, life is interesting, right? We might think these are the things we need, but sometimes what's enough is not what we're really needing or looking for.
Yeah. And how do we, how in the midst of that crazy story, right? Do you have gratitude? Do you connect? Can you see God's provision in that space?
Yeah. How do we look for provision right where we're at? Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's something obvious like, oh, I was in a car accident and now I've discovered that I had cancer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's less obvious that this is just not going the way that I want it to go. How do we look for provision in that space?
Yeah.
When I think back to your story about the struggle to get pregnant and those sorts of things, right? And now you have the girls, and yet, right? In the midst of that, in the midst of the chaos of having kids, having my kids, we wanted kids, we have kids. And now you're like, I just want to strangle my kids all day.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And sometimes I'm not feeling grateful.
Right. And so how do in those just everyday moments of, again, we're really doing this again.
I prayed for this.
It takes you 7 hours to find your shoes every morning. And I ask you 14 times and then I have to yell at you before you move. It's hard to find that contentment and the enoughness in that space. And I think that's the challenge of this section of the book, is really to slow ourselves down a little bit and look back at those moments and to remember, like we talked about yesterday.
Yes.
But also, one of the passages she talks about, I lift my eyes up to the mountains. Where does my help come from?
My help comes from the Lord.
Yeah. And then okay, center, this is enough. Everything we have in this moment is enough. And so as we finish our week, the 5-minute faith practice is to read Psalm 121 as a prayer. Ask God to show you his kindness right here, right now. And then write down some of the things that comes to mind. We'd love for you to add that on our YouTube page and share some of the things that come to mind. And we'd love to be engaging with you as we continue through this week.
I really feel like it's important to remember what she put at the end. You don't have to be grateful for your broken heart. You don't have to be grateful for all these broken moments that you might be thinking of. We can be grateful that God is taking care of us as only God can.
Yeah, right on. Right. It's an important reminder. Thanks, Tammy.